Anymore. I'm so in pain and confused. This might be bad. This might be really bad.
I mean, it seems really bad.
Yeah, it doesn't seem good at all.
First of all, you ruined the moment.
Yeah, did you see that? Look at
I'm sorry.
waspy.
Next time, a little wine, some candles. What happened to romance?
We're in the
Jeez.
jungle. What's more romantic than that?
Have you ever heard of Ichneumonidae?
That's a great band.
It would be a great band, but it's actually a horrible thing. Ichneumons, pronounced Ichneumons.
Spell that.
Ichneumons.
NEU.
Mouse.
Ichneumons. Ichneumons. They're massive soup for family of parasitic wasps.
Oh, shit.
Points.
So they are, in fact, a massive superfamily of parasitic wasps.
Now,
I
wait
just
a
love
minute.
the term.
Is this like Lori Loughlin parasitic wasps?
Oh, got him!
Bam! Topical.
where you at?
Topical. Bring it. While usually, they're not a threat to humans. Usually, but right now, evidently,
That
they
fucker
is.
was big,
It was
too.
big. It was big. It had weight to it. I mean, I felt like a baby was on my neck. Now, the thing about these wasps is they have a rather horrific way of starting life. Now, they average in length between 1/8 to 5 inches long, and all have a intimidating ovipositor, which is quite literally an egg depositor, but it looks like a stinger. They don't actually sting. They just look like these giant evil wasps. But one thing that they all have in common is that they start life as a parasite.
What's the difference between ovipositing and stinging?
Well, stinging stinging would inject a venom, while an ovipositor injects an egg.
Okay, so
Gross.
way worse than a sting.
Yeah.
True, but it's not a literal
It's not a
outsting. It's just more like it's like blick, and now worse stuff happens way later.
And now you
Wait, I'm
are
talking
a
about
host.
myself.
Yeah. Now you're a host.
Good deal. Now, the female wasp will lay their eggs near or often on a host. Now, they have been observed drilling their ovipositor 2 to 3 inches into a dead log because they can hear larvae inside of it. So they'll put their antenna next to a log, hear fly larvae in it, and they'll dig their ovipositor into the wood 2 or 3 inches.
I don't like the way you're saying ovipositor.
It's just
Yeah.
fun to say.
It's like really erotic.
Ovipositor.
So, yeah, he's
and
got
then they
such a-
inject the ovipositor.
So throaty.
One to talk. Now, some
I don't
scientists
even know what that means.
have discovered, you will.
Oh.
Some scientists have discovered that the tip of some of the ovipositors may be hardened
Super hot.
with iodized manganese or zinc, like almost tiny little drill bits.
Oh, wow.
And they're not sure if it's like a natural process or if the wasps are somehow using outside materials like tools, like if they're somehow
The old
coating their
galvanized-
ovipositors. Yeah, basically.
Get
So
like wasp shop.
this week on Wasp Shop.
I got the titanium ovipositor, girl.
Now, make sure you're...
Got that bling bling in my ovipositor.
You're going to go straight down in that log, girl.
Yeah.
You know it, girl.
Make sure your fifth
Fuck.
hand is on the third drill bit. Now,
Holy shit, dude.
Kind of involved. Now, once
nuts.
Yeah, it is. Once the eggs begin to mature into the larval stage, they'll begin to feed on the blood and soft tissue of the fly larva, and eventually chew their way through the wood and escape. But when eating fly babies isn't enough, certain ichneumon wasps step up their game a bunch. While most parasites don't kill their host because no host equals no food, however, parasitoids give zero fucks about the life of their hosts.
Yeah, just like wasps. Mean motherfuckers.
They're just evil
Wasps
bastards.
suck.
Yeah, they suck. Bees do a lot for the planet. Wasps can go bite a biggin.
they don't do anything for the
Even
planet.
spiders. Like, I see a spider, I'm like, kind of like, maybe he's okay.
You
I'll
have a
name
place-
him.
you
His
have a
name's like
place in the
Robin or
ecosystem.
something. If I see a wasp, it's war. Like, I don't give a fuck.
So
Yeah.
wasps have no benefit to the
No, they just help other
At
wasps.
least for us, maybe. Yeah,
They're
I
just
don't
like
know.
normal wasps in the white
But they
culture. They just help themselves and nothing else.
Yeah. See, there you go.
That was
See?
Angela's
Second
joke,
shot,
though.
Lori Loughlin, where
Yeah.
you at? Hashtag twice. Get the
Felicity
two-piece.
Huffman as
Ba-boom.
well.
Yeah.
One of the things also that they've been observed is using a sort of mind control against their hosts.
What?
So one breed of wasp lays their eggs up to about 80 directly inside of caterpillars. They land on a caterpillar, put in the ovipositor, and just drop in the eggs.
Gross.
Now, once inside, the eggs begin to mature.
It's just
And
a serial rapist.
basically, but way more
worse.
horrible. Way more horrible. Now, the eggs begin to mature and feed once again on the body fluids, but somehow they always avoid eating any vital organs. Somehow these little tiny larvae bugs know how to eat the right parts of the caterpillar to keep it alive.
They're just like, first the appendix.
Yeah.
Then the gallbladder.
Then the
Those
calves.
are the best.
You're like, you got 9, 10 calves.
And
I can
one
take a couple of
kidney.
those. Yeah, exactly.
Just one.
And so basically, it becomes a shell of itself, but it still stays alive somehow, which is just
shit.
even worse.
Good
Now,
God.
the wasp larvae go through several molts inside of the caterpillar. And so as they shed their
Damn, do they pay
exoskeletons...
rent?
They
What?
should. They should. Now, as they shed their exoskeletons and they expand, the caterpillar begins to grow and expand as well. Till it looks like it's been described as a soda can in the freezer about to burst. And so it's just
poor thing.
Yeah, it's just horrible. Now, at this point, the wasp larvae have assumed total control of the caterpillar. And it will start using its own silk to create a protective covering to shield the larva. It'll actually cover itself almost into a cocoon just to save the larvae, not for its own uses. And then it'll go into defense mode. It'll actually get up on its hind legs and lash out at any predators.
Whoa.
And to save the eggs inside of it, including hyperparasitoids that actually lay their eggs into other wasp larvae. So it even goes to another level where there's a wasp that lies eggs inside of other wasp eggs.
Dude, this is so crazy.
Everybody's always like, the beauty of nature. Fuck that shit.
It's just evil on evil.
Evil and mean.
And blood and eating.
It's just
and
anything
just-
for survival.
Insects
That's it.
need a lot of therapy.
As Ainsley was checking her
I know the way you look at your fingernails when you said that was so real, man.
Oh,
Good
my
Lord.
God.
Well
I'm so
done.
infinitely more frightened of you now. I don't, please
I didn't
don't
think that was
ever kill
possible.
me.
I didn't think that was possible. It is.
Ugh.
Christ almighty.
Like I said, now they will rear up on their hind legs and whip its head violently at any attackers. It's even been
Does that
observed.
nay-nay? Does that whip?
God,
Does that nay-nay?
that was a horrible
Yeah, does
time
that
for
whip?
culture right there.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the...
That was a tight... No, I'm talking to him. That was a tight-ass motherfucking dance. Also, who are you scaring, caterpillar? Swollen caterpillar whipping your head.
Swole.
Whipping
It's
the
all
nay-nay.
swole.
Whipping the nay-nay.
Because when it bucks up, it's like 7 feet tall.
Full of, like...
It's a big-ass caterpillar.
It's just, like, gyrating.
Dune.
Like, I'm full of fucking, like, wasp eggs. Like,
Yeah.
fuck off.
It's full of political powers at that point.
Ugh. Gross.
It's even been observed grabbing enemies with its mouth and tossing it aside like
yeah.
Godzilla style.
That's gross.
Which is odd for a placid vegetarian. You know, they're very placid vegetarians. All of a sudden they become these violent
hype.
beasts. Now, it's fun time. Time for all 80 larvae to make their exit. And they do it all at once. Over the course of an hour, they release chemicals that paralyze the host. And then they begin to gnaw their way out. Now, what's interesting is that when the larvae finally leave their final exoskeleton actually kind of plugs up the hole left. So they actually create sort of like a half-ass bandage surgery
Like a
as they
cauterization.
leave. So it doesn't, once again, the host doesn't die immediately as it should. As it bursts out, you think it would just finally be the death. Nope, still keeps it alive for a little bit. And so the host is now gravely wounded and basically will just live out for a short amount of time because it can't eat, has no blood, anything, and eventually dies. But how do they mind control the host? Scientists have dissected caterpillars after being used as a host, and what they found out is that a few of the larvae are left behind, almost like they sacrifice themselves for the good of the brood.
Like the runts?
I don't know if it's selected that way. We don't know. But
The
one or two of them
Professor X's?
will stay behind. They'll inject into the brain of the host a cocktail of chemicals that keep it under control, and then they stay behind so their brothers and sisters may escape and survive. So it's
they
like
drug it up.
They like two of them like for the team. We'll take it for the team.
They just
and
like draw straws.
They could, like just like when a plane's going down and someone has to control the plane so it hits.
Right.
They're like, you guys go. I've got this. That's basically it. These are the Captain America of the wasp larvae.
Spoilers. Come on.
So, once again, as we've always learned, as we look into the horrors of the macro world around us, if you zoom into the micro, you can find some of the scariest shit around.
It's so terrifying.
Yeah, it
Just
is.
like Ichneumonidae wasps. Ichneumonidae wasps. Terrifying, scary, and now I've got bugs inside of me!
Yeah, you're screwed.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Bugs in me!